Okay, recap for Thursday, 18/09/2025. So, let me sit down. So today was easy. I can't lie. I missed it because I was just tired. Realistically, I had like what 3 hours of sleep, and I tried to catch something. I got a break even and just left it at that. Went back to bed, but should have been awake. Should have, could have, whatever. Right? Should have been awake. Right? And actually try to trade properly. It's pretty clear. So yesterday, as we've seen, we had the big wick discount, right? And we're expecting to rally up, right? It'll all depend on how we open on Asia and London if we're gonna even visit the wick, right? So because we could do something like this and zoom, and I thought we're gonna at least visit something in the wick, not fully treating it as a full rejection block, but you know we tend to do this, which means we're very bullish still, right? So if we get down to the 1 minute, I just want to show how we opened yesterday. Right, we had the buy side, and for Asia, we instantly opened and went straight for it, right? We didn't even have a model 2022 to visit the wick, right? So look at this gap. Let's just show the gap right there. Right, for Asia. If we're gonna go visit the wick, we're gonna do it in London, right? So look, we go fill the gap all the way to the top and start the model 2022, right? And right there, rather than selling off on the second gap, which normally would should have taken us all the way to the start, which means this low, we didn't, and we invalidated it right there, and then just basically disrespected the whole play, and then went up from there, which means we're very bullish, right? The only thing that I didn't like is that we created relative equal rather than actually, taking one up. So I did mention that as a sell side liquidity, and I guess that'd be Asia sell side. Anyway, we go up, we go up, we go up all the way to like 8:30 news, and then we dump. Well, I think ICT took this trade to the initial buy side liquidity, right? She's easy trade, kind of, if you're looking at it as well. Anyway, my model, whatever. My point is to get a discount, right? Like based on all of this, we're bullish. So let me explain all. Let me explain my thought process that I had in like the 5 minutes that I had to frame a bias and like jump in. All right, my eyes were just watering, bro. Like I just needed to go back to bed. Technically, I shouldn't have traded. Like I'll just skip these days. Anyway, so this bigger orange shade area is the breaker block inside this fair value gap, right? And I do expect us to go down to discount, right? Where to discount? I don't know, because the problem today is kind of tricky to count discount because the start of the accumulation after news is here, and Loki could add these, but like realistically is here, right? So best way to do it realistically is just look at like a 4 hour or 1 hour. Let me check the 1 hour, it might be more clear. That is way too low. That's so basically after the balanced price range bar, right? This whole area, technically not here. So technically from this low, that is one range. But if we really get the full range, it's this 4 hour, right? I'm not gonna count the wick. I'm gonna count the body. So from the rejection block that was used and all the way to the high at that current time. And since then, we just had green candles, right? So to me, this is my new range. And if you put the discount here, that's that blue line. This upper 0.75, right, is I need a daily PD array and a 4 hour PD array that are next to each other in that discount area, right? So now I got my discount. What's next to it? Upper quadrant of this wick, right? The midpoint is too low. And for the 4 hour, we just have our breaker block, right? Talked right there. So the CE of it is right basically next to the discount, right? And Well, I didn't really look at it properly because I did see the possibility of us taking London lows and maybe Asia lows, but if I'm just like, with two brain cells or just actually awake, this is clearly a balanced price range, right? So this to this is a balanced price range. Same with all the way at the bottom, and then same with here when we open go up and then trade all the way down. Now this is a balanced price range, and I would not want price to go below it. And do you see what that low is? On the sell side, right? What also adds to this is ES, which didn't create the balanced price range. It doesn't have a balanced price range. And what does it do? Goes and takes the sell side for London. I've seen all of this. I don't know why I was like, yeah, like come on, at least take London, right? Because in my model it also says it has to be PD array and liquidity. But we did take initial liquidity, so but I wasn't too keen, right? Remember, I was tired. I didn't even have this order book marked. That's how tired I was. I literally didn't even see the order book. I was looking for wicks or whatever, right? Without just zooming out and just seeing that we created a breaker, right? Anyway, so that's the PD arrays, right? And then we have our midnight open, right? So if I'm looking to buy, what's the most discounted discount, right? Discount of the range, so 0.5, and only there and then would I look for the PD arrays. And over that was a better bonus below midnight opening price, right? So you can see the second that we enter down here, I should be looking for buys, right? I had the upper quadrant, right? But I did not have the breaker block. And the discount, I had this discount, yes, and I had a discount that under there if we would want to count the news. But I know I really should not count news as in part of the range because it's just full manipulation. It should be the accumulation that would start it, or like I said, just from the wick, or find the place where we just been going up, right? Needing to go down. The last place that we visited basically discount, right? That would count as if we're discounted or not, right? And the last time we visited discount was here when we went for the rejection block. And that clearly can look like it's the start of the move up that's normal from the range, and that is basically from 4 o'clock, right? So that validates that this is the discount area. Anyway, I was genuinely so tired that I wanted to get in and get the hell out, and I was just like, okay, I can't be asked to wait for the distribution. Let me go for the manipulation, right? When we were up here in our breaker, remember this is the 15-minute breaker. With the fair value gap, that will definitely take us down to our discount, right? That's for the manipulation that started at 8:30, right? This is the second leg that will take us to the discount. Oh, I looked at it and I wanted to show it so bad when it hit the CE, and I'm just there like, I hit that trade even though it's obvious. That's breaking my rules. I'm normally gonna wait for distribution of the manipulation actually had a confirmation. It gives me, right? Boom, it goes there without me, and I'm like, whatever, right? And then goes down here, and I'm then like, I started looking. I was like, hey, yo, kinda relative equal lows with London, even though I can see it clearly that London did this. You know, if London actually just left this and didn't do a sweep, I wouldn't even mind the fact that I tried to short. But the fact that I already swept this, right, and it looks like it left for its own range. Yes, I say liquidity, then PD array has to be hit, but we already hit the initial liquidity, and we have already been taking sell side since 8:30, right? And ES has clearly taken London and Asia by this time, right? Would I expect ES to go any lower? That's just hopium. We wouldn't be bullish anymore with ES, and that wouldn't make sense. Same with YM. YM went so down. Was that night? Yeah, it was already going down, and at 9:30 it was already so down that it basically wasn't moving because how down it was, right? So I knew it's very, very unlikely to take it, but I was like, maybe we can have an SMT. So I did take the short right here at the CE, and it went all the way down, but I did not have this bullish breaker marked because I was not convinced this was the low, just for the fact that I missed the 4 hour breaker. I don't know how I missed it, but I'm guessing I'm tired. Till now I'm still tired because I only went back to sleep for like an hour or two to do some stuff. I'm literally gonna drop this and just straight going back to bed again because at CBA waking up that late again. Anyway, now that I can see, and that it literally took me like 5 minutes after I woke up to like see what the day has done. I kind of feel kind of stupid for not catching anything, right? I did catch the short that didn't make any sense, and I did get stopped out at break even. Here, this one candle just wicked instantly. It's just like I don't know. It opened, went down slightly, and instantly somehow wicked like it was news all the way up here, which didn't make any sense, right? Because the second if I was seeing it going up, then I would probably look at the break. I'm like, oh shit, okay, let me pause it. That's cool. Take the BE, and then I mean BE slash Rubit, whatever. But the second that it went above the first percent, I was like, if I got that wrong, that's definitely the low, right? But then I was like, I don't have anything. Well, I could have had something if I spent some time looking for it, but I was like, okay, if we can get above the first presented, that'll be the second time we'll reach the CE. So that means I should I should not really care about this breaker, right? Because if this breaker can't take us any lower, that's it, right? And going above this is a full, I don't know, market structure shift, I'd say, right? Not just a change in state, right? That's a whole market structure shift. And we did, and then in its own self, it'll cause its own breaker. If you look at it in like probably the 5 or the 15 minutes, whatever, right? So a buy right here, which I thought about it, but I was like, eh, that's me breaking my rules. Even though this is technically breaking my rules, but I just wanted to go to sleep. But when I got stopped, I was like, hey, that's breaking my rules. Why? Because I didn't have all of this marked. If I had all of this marked, that's not breaking my rules at all. I'd actually take this by, in the breaker, like at the top of the breaker here. That makes sense. Maybe like, because is this if this gap is in discount, um but there's way too many lines, way too many lines. I have to keep up. Yeah. So the second any what's in discount, our breaker, this fair value gap. So I'll take like the CE of the gap, right? That's probably my optimal entry, and that's like the top of the breaker. So that'd be my entry, right? If I seen this, and the target is just the highest high, which is the initial buy side liquidity from news, right? The 8:30 news. So let me show what news it was. It was unemployment claims, right? At 8:30. So that to that realistically was the only trade. You can keep, I don't know, um runners, but there was nothing to run for, I guess, right? I tried to take this short on paper, and once it started going slowly, I just knew it was gonna get stopped out. Why is that short? Again, still on that same idea that we create them lows. I know it's not favorable, but what confused me, right? What confused me, even though the fact that we were meant to go up is this. Let me show you. We did not. That's how we open, right? We open and we close. There. We did not visit the 50% of our opening range gap. Being this close, I have not seen this in a while, right? That's also the reason. Back of my head, I didn't even care. I did not even care to even look for like longs, because it's not like here. The only reason I showed this was my target, right? This was my target because I was like, okay, 70% of the time we'll reach this by 10, and it looks like we'll do it. And plus, at least we could take London low, and then maybe I'd count that as a low, hitting that low. I have not seen this for the day, right? For the whole day, going up without reaching 0.5, right? Knowing like, yeah, some days we'll go all the way up without touching, but like normally it'll be touching like the 0.75, then going up, then going down. But this one is different, right? And then I'm gonna have to like be prepared for these, I guess, because I kind of was relying on the opening range gap for it to like, okay, 0.5, okay, we're allowed to go up from now. But the second that if we don't hit 0.5, we're not allowed to go up. Only reason that I see it making sense is just the breaker, right? If we went to it, we would cook the breaker, right? And we'd invalidate the breaker, right? So that's the only reason that makes sense to me. And technically and low key, looking at it, it's definitely a market structure shift, right? Like if we're really bullish, we should not be taking that low, right? We should not even be that deep. The only reason we're that deep is because that's literally discount, and you know it's the second that we hit discount, right? We hit it with one candle and that's it. The next one's like gone. Bye. Anyway, I guess it's an easy day. Like it was obvious that it was gonna be bullish, just how we closed yesterday. Um, we are building sell side, right? Which is questionable of what we're gonna do tomorrow. But I'm gonna lean again for just looking for higher prices and stop. As long as we manipulate pre-open like this at 8:30. Let me just check news tomorrow. Tomorrow, as long as at 9:30 we manipulate. And now what's discount was premium, right? This low, this low is now the one that marks new discount, and currently we're in discount of our range, right? But we're gonna have to see by 9:30 if we're gonna be ever in discount. Like for example, if we're looking at mini ranges from here to here, or we were at discount, then we're not. But like looking at the full range is whatever this range is tomorrow. If we're up or something or whatever, that'll count. Anyway, that's hopefully I didn't miss anything, but because this day was kind of important, right? Especially the fact that the opening range gap, the 0.5 wasn't reached, right? That's actually very important to like know it's possible, right? It's very rare, very rare. I actually haven't seen it in like a while, right? Like if normally it's like consolidate near the 0.75, and if it wants to leave, but that means it'll come back later. But being that close and not reaching it, that is very weird. Yeah. Well, the story. If I'm seeing clear like SMTs, like this obvious, right? Allow it. And technically, what I liked, right? Basically, exactly happened on ES, like basically the T, right? I'm guessing this gonna be the opening range gap. No, where's the opening range gap? No, that was not the opening range gap. I think it's a PD array, but close to open, right? We hit the 0.5. Perfect. We also clearly hit our PD arrays, whatever the PD array that happened here, and we take London and Asia sell side, right? Perfect. Then we go up, go down for the breaker with the fair value gap. it does overshoot it here, but it's a whatever. The stop loss would still be covering it. And guess what? I bet you we go to these. These are the 7. Yep, these are the initial buy side. See? It is so simple, but like I don't really trade ES, right? I don't like ES. I don't know, I don't like ES, but I just don't like ES. It's not the most, I guess, accurate to the PD arrays, but if I was gonna trade with my logic today, right? If I was genuinely just looking at ES to trade, it did exactly what I wanted to do by taking both that liquidity and zooming the hell up to the target. Nasdaq, wait, do we have a breakable look in the 4 hour? Yeah, we do. We do, but we do have a Reaper inside it. Do we have one in here? Yeah, we do as well. Regardless, we didn't have a balanced price range here, and price went the hell down, right? For ES, it didn't really care about the breaker, right? The break, this break is a bit wild anyway. It's not as clean as the one on NQ, right? It's weird, but regardless, that's the recap anyway. And I do need to pay more attention to SMTs, right? Even though I've seen it, I just decided to ignore this one. I don't know, too tired, too whatever. Anyway, important day to note in journal. So if it happens similar again, this is the video for it. So I'm gonna put a special note for it. And yeah, that's the market recap. Peace.